Hey there, EV friends. It's Mark Weller for My EV Mechanic. Today, we're turning to our computer to use AI to help us with our conversion. Let's take a look. All right, so there are a couple foundational elements that make up a good conversion. And so these are the things that we're going to want to ask ChatGPT or Gemini or any of the other AI platforms so that we get correct information back. So the general guideline for a conversion is efficiency is everything. So you need your vehicle to have low rolling resistance, aerodynamics, lightweight, all of the things that would generally help a gasoline car get the best gas mileage. Those are going to be the best conversions. So really, the start of a good conversion is starting with the right platform. And it's one of my favorite things about conversions is that when you buy a vehicle, you're kind of limited to whatever the manufacturer created. When you convert a vehicle, you have the option that you can choose the best platform, you can choose the best drivetrain, you can choose the best battery pack, and you can essentially create your own great vehicle. And there's nothing better than driving what you built. So it's just a great satisfaction there. So we're going to take a look at the 5 things that you're going to want to consider when you're doing your conversion. So we like to call these the big 5 hows. So let's take a look. So the first one we're going to want to know is how far can it drive? How much heavier will my car be? How fast will it go? How much will it cost? And how long will it take to charge the battery? Let's turn now to the computer and take a look. We found our way to the computer, and now we're going to take a look at what ChatGPT and Google Gemini can do for us. The first thing that I want you to do is to find what would be an appropriate vehicle. You can see at the top here, I am at chatgtp.com. It's going to try and have you create an account, log in. I'm just using a free version. I'm not logged in. Let's go paste. Okay, so what are the 20 best cars to convert from gas to electric? And see what it has to say. So it's going to generate a list for us. And this is, there again, the car that you pick is really going to dictate how much money you're going to spend, what kind of performance you're going to have, and the overall success of your project. So we definitely want you to have the right vehicle picked out. So this gives you a list here, and you can just follow along with me and type this in on your own. So I'm going to go through this kind of quick. I'm not going to read every one of these to you here. But some vehicles definitely have, and by this point in the game, a lot of these have already been figured out. So if you're trying to do a vehicle that has not been converted yet, there's probably a reason for that. So let's go over here to Gemini, paste, there we go. Okay, what are the 20 best cars to convert from gas to electric? And so there we go. It's amazing how quick this comes up with the answers. So you can check both of these. There's other ones as well. And the other one that I put you can try is what are the 20 worst cars to convert? For your first car, just don't try and do the first of something for your first car. It just takes a minute to kind of figure this out here. It really takes you like 3 vehicles till you really get a feel for how this goes. And so I have put together a template of just sample questions that I'm going to plug into ChatGPT here. One of the things that you're going to want to know is if you're going to use the original transmission or if you're going to use the gearbox that came with the motor that you're going to be putting in. If you're using a Tesla or the Nissan Leaf, you're going to use those gearboxes and you're not going to worry about yours. The trade-off is you're going to have to get to 400 volts. So you're going to be adding a lot more batteries and have to deal with more cell taps on your BMS. So if you go with a lower voltage, like the Hyper 9, you can use the existing transmission. They're lower voltage, so they'll use less battery management work, and those are just an easier way to go. Pretty much for a first one, that's kind of the way to go. I will put this script in the description section that you can just copy it, and I will put question marks in where you need to fill in what for your vehicle, what information it's going to say. So this is just my generic list that I'm asking ChatGPT. And if you have already determined the vehicle, then you can go ahead and you can put the vehicle type in here. Let's see what it gave us here. So I gave it the transmission gear ratios.
I had already calculated the gear ratio. This is just a sample vehicle. This is not what you're going to use for yours. You're going to need to figure out what your ratios are, or just don't give it any ratios. You don't have to have this at all. Performance curve. So this is giving me for my, so the smaller vehicle, basically for your first one, you want to do a smaller vehicle as well. The Volkswagen Beetles, although they're getting, I don't say rare, but they're not that cheap always, but that's certainly one of the easier ones to do a conversion on. Um, and then, so my battery efficiency, let's see, did it give me, so it's telling me the Tesla Model S modules. Yes, those are super popular. Looks like the Chevy Bolt, those are getting some attention. And then the Nissan Leaf, which didn't have a great reputation in the car, but a lot of people are using those for conversions. And you can usually find them pretty cheap because they didn't last that long in the actual factory car. Let's see what's here. So the cost to convert. So this gets a pretty good breakdown. So if you get creative on your materials and source them, do your junkyards and eBay and Facebook Marketplace. That can be a good place to find stuff. On the low side, 9,000. On the high side, 24,000 on a smaller car. Let's go over to ChatGTP. Let's put the same thing in here. So we're going to go. So this is my long script. It'll be in the description that you can totally use. So it's going to take it a second here because I asked it some pretty detailed information. So these were just my specs. You're going to need to change all of these before you paste it in to what your vehicle, what it is. So here's some other considerations would be the tire size. That's gonna affect all of your readings here. So this was just giving us 26 inches. I think I'm not seeing it there. So let's see what's here. So your miles per kilowatt and kilowatt per mile. So this is a good one here. So these are actually the inverse of one another. So for 1 kilowatt of electricity, it's going to haul me 2.85 miles. Kilowatts per mile would be, so for 1 mile, I'm going to use 0.35 kilowatts of energy. You will want to get familiar with those because that is totally your miles per gallon calculation. Giving us some choices of some donor battery packs. For the charge times, let's talk about that for a second. So you have level 1, level 2. So I give it 2 different sizes of charger. So this was the 3.3 kilowatt charger and a 6.6 kilowatt charger. And then you have the level 1 and level 2. That is essentially in America, that's going to be if you were charging on 120 volt outlet, just a regular outlet that you would plug a hairdryer or anything else into. Or if you're going to plug into a 240 volt outlet, that would be like where you would plug in a dryer or a welder. So you get faster charging times. If you don't need to charge fast, and for most EVs on a conversion, if you're just going to charge overnight, it really doesn't matter how long it takes to charge. Okay, and then the cost. Yeah, so battery cost is coming down. Like the cost of batteries is falling pretty quickly. So we have quite a few, like I say, on the road now. And so as those are taken out of service, the batteries are often still good. The power curve, so this just gives us some efficiency numbers that we asked for. So the permanent magnet motors, those are pretty good choice. Other options that you have besides ChatGTP, and there are other ones. I've pulled up just a few of them here. So we can go to, this one was on the EV West site. There again, you can pause the video and type this into your browser, and you will bring this one up. So this gets more specific to the gear ratios. That's the main thing that this one is giving us. And then I'm going to go to the next one here, and there again you can pause the video and type this into your browser. This is a pretty good one here for pretty basic. It's going to make adjustments for how aerodynamic it is or isn't, and so this is pretty good basic one. So that works well. And then this one here, there again you can type this up into your browser. This one is pretty intense. Like there's a lot of stuff here. So it really, somebody really spent a lot of time on this one. From as best as I can tell, this one went into goes back to the days of lead acid batteries. So we're not using lead acid batteries in conversions anymore. There's just no need to. But there's some really good stuff in here. It gets into the, where was it at, up here on the drag, your drag calculations. So, yeah, so if you know, depending on how deep you want to go, I like using the chat GTP because it automatically figures it all out for us. So I am going to go ahead and do a wrap up.
All right, friends. Well, I hope you're a little smarter than you were a few minutes ago. I want to thank you for watching. If you are one of my subscribers, thank you. If you are not, please subscribe. It does help the YouTube algorithm so that these videos can help more people. I want you to remind your friends, EVs are now available for everyone. And I look forward to seeing you in a future YouTube video.